This is my Mooncool Trike review. I bought this Mooncool Mountain Trike, which is a good theory. Don't get me wrong. There's some improvements that I'm going to go through them with you real quick. And it's going to be fast because I'm not really a YouTube video, guy. But I'm just going to do this for other buyers that are potentially... It's a good trike, don't get me wrong. I probably wouldn't go any different. But in the future, is what I'm saying is in the future, they can make this bike so much more usable for its purpose. It's got a nice size basket, oversized basket. The framing's pretty good. The rims ain't bad, everything's pretty good. It's got decent gears. It's got a rear cylinder brake. It's got the shifters and it's got the shocks, which is a good idea. But the main things about this trike that I would make improvements with would be make the wheelbase and the rims a 24 to 26. Probably a 24. Those are like a medium, teenager mountain bike size, which is a little bit step up from the 20s, but not too much. Okay, so that's what I would do. One thing, this thing I'd get rid of. This is just gonna puncture your styrofoam cup. The only problem I had is tightening this crank up, where that's pretty good. I mean, it needs fixing. Whoever put this together at the store didn't know what they were doing. I had to make some adjustments to begin with. I put this little first aid kit on there in case or a patch kit or whatever on there if somebody gets hurt or you're on a trail somewhere and you got to sew yourself up or God knows what. So I souped that up. But back to the review of the bike. So it could use a better seat. That's not going to help. That's not good. Trust me. You might as well just put a decent seat on the thing. A spring seat. This crossbar could come down to about right there. This crossbar could come down to about right here. The rear axle bar could come down to about right there, making it easier for you to get on. Any sex get on. Old people want, like old people, it'd be more suitable. This whole bar could come back to about right here. You could cut this whole thing back, giving it more radius stability of turning stability and more radius around corners, and you know what I mean. This thing, you got to take corners a little bit wider than when you had a little bit wider, which changing up the wheelbase size, the rim size, and bringing this frame back to about right, probably another 4 inches, I would imagine, to right here. I mean, you don't need all that. You don't need all that space. You could bring this back to about right there. So that would mean shortening up, the frame right there. Other than that, man, it's a good trike. So far, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Maybe the tubes and the tires that came with it aren't the best, but man, if you know anything about trikes and you could buy one and the money that you're gonna put in afterwards, realistically, and not wanting to pedal your butt off in the road, and not get anywhere, man, this thing really does pretty good. It really does. I see where they're going. This Mooncool company's going with this. I've never looked at any of their other bikes, just this trike up. So I don't know if there's other options or whatever they do. But theoretically, it's a good bike, man. I mean, it just needs... There's certain things that certain people need about a trike, and certain things people don't, I guess. But anybody knows that these seats are just out of style. That's a cheap seat. Wouldn't even waste the resource or the time or the money putting it on this thing. Yeah, what else? The cranks are always pretty good from what I can see. So I'm just going to put this up on there and see if anybody gets anything from it. Everything else is pretty good. The front disc brakes, the rear disc brake mechanism, and I believe they're Shimano. It comes with Shimano. And, you know, the Mooncool parts aren't too bad. I guess that's what this would be, a Mooncool rim. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not like my Adventure. I really like my Adventure trike. It just suited my purpose and my disability. So that's my review. And feel free to leave a comment if you all have any questions. You know, maybe I can help you. I mean, I've owned probably about a dozen trikes. I probably could have had a business by now if they all weren't getting stolen off the street and stuff. So, but I just do it, and you know, I have people hit me up all the time, or I carry around tools and stuff with me when we're on the street because there's always somebody that needs a patch or something. So I keep a little tool kit up under there, strapped up under here. Usually I take a little kit and I'll put a tube. You know, stuff that if you get stranded, at least a patch kit, a tube. I put all that up in here in a little bag or something, like sort of like this, sort of like my first aid kit. And then I'll just wire tie it up under there if I ever need it. Putting all that fancy bike pump stuff on your thing is just, we all know that's a joke. You don't do it like that. Get you a little thing like this or something and wire tie it up under the basket in case you ever, so it's not in your basket and you don't risk losing it. It's always there, you know. That first aid kit's always going to be there. Somebody gets hurt, cut, something happens, poked, stabbed. It's all right there, bro. And I'm just a normal citizen. It could not even happen to me. It could happen to somebody else. You see on the trail, you pull up and you got that, man. Soup it up with a needle and thread, a razor blade, some fishing hooks, and some good test wire, and just wire it up in there. You just never know what kind of situation you could get yourself into. That needle and thread should be mandatory. Should be a mandatory item in a first aid kit. It's got a little whistle and stuff in there, flashlight, if I ever need it. But I just make sure it sits right there on the trike if I ever need it. It's out of the way and tucked away, so that's pretty good. Anyway, all right, see y'all later. I'm gonna post this and see if anybody likes it. Later, man. Later, y'all.